Jamestown man enters a plea in a case where he's accused of killing his wife and his stepson. The county's top prosecutor will share his thoughts about the plea right here. The Buffalo Bills welcome a Carolina Panther to Orchard Park, and we'll have local reaction to Thursday's historic vote to overhaul the healthcare system. That's News Now for Friday, May 5th, 2017. Live and on demand, it's Morning News Now with Justin Gould and Storm Hartman. Not quite good morning. 50 degrees and wet in the city of Jamestown. I'm Ryan Hedrick, and pardon the pun, I'm in for Justin and Storm. They're both under the weather. Our top story, the National Weather Service says cooler than normal temperatures will persist for most of Friday. Meteorologist Aaron Reynolds says you can expect damp, wet, colder temperatures as we get set for the weekend.
For today, we're running a little bit below normal as far as high temperatures are concerned, and it is going to be considerably below normal the next several days as we head into the weekend.
Also, snow is a possibility this weekend. Reynolds says it won't be a major event.
We don't expect it to stick around, and it will be a gradual but very slow warming trend as we head into next week. We've got a little low-pressure system that's going to hang out for quite some time, and it's going to keep it quite cool as it hangs around the area.
A full forecast coming up in minutes here on Morning News Now. A Jamestown man pleads guilty to 2 counts of manslaughter on Thursday for the 2015 murders of his wife and his stepson. 54-year-old Aaron Wiltrick will be sentenced at the end of August. We spoke to Chautauqua County District Attorney Patrick Swanson shortly after the plea was entered. How do you and your staff feel about this plea? Are you satisfied with the manslaughter conviction?
When it ends up with the defendant admitting responsibility to everything he's done and he's accused to have done, there's a level of satisfaction that comes with that. You know, that being said, you know, in homicide cases, it doesn't really feel like a win because at the end of the day, you've lost someone's life.
Team coverage of the Alan Woodrick trial continues, culminating in a manslaughter plea of guilty as we chat with the man that led that prosecution. In this case, District Attorney Patrick Swanson. Patrick, the victims in this case, will they ever get any type of closure?
Well, you know, I hope so. That being said, I've never been in that situation, and I can't imagine how difficult it would be. What I know about this particular case is the family members on both sides were always very close, and I don't know that that's changed because of the actions of one. And like I said before, it's given the nature and circumstances of this particular case, it is particularly tragic.
And sentencing is set for August 22nd. Swanson says Woodrick could end up in prison for 20 years. That's 10 years on each count. Keep it tuned to WNY News Now for the latest of the sentencing, again, coming up on August 22nd. The Buffalo Bills need a general manager, and quick. Last week, the team fired Doug Whaley less than a year after signing him to an extension. Channel 2 in Buffalo is reporting the Bills interviewed current Panthers assistant general manager Brandon Beane. Buffalo's head coach Sean McDermott spent 6 years as Carolina's defensive coordinator. McDermott is very familiar with Brandon Beane, and the team is very high on Beane, according to sources. Straight ahead, local reaction to House Republicans passing legislation that makes serious dents in portions of the Affordable Care Act. But first, here's our Skyline weather forecast with Dakota Hunter.
Last year, we couldn't buy a drop of rain. This year, we're almost floating away into the Atlantic, it seems like. Let's take a look at the high-resolution NAM, and as you can see, it's blanketing much of the area in rain. A few breaks in the rain this afternoon, but notice this patch of heavier rain pushing in down across the southern tier. That works northward. The rain backs off in intensity and becomes more scattered in nature on Saturday, and then here comes the snow. This model has some of the rain turning over to snow by early Saturday evening, but I think the changeover will occur later Saturday night, and then as the colder air filters in, the flakes start flying across all of western New York. Again, the snow will be wet, so it won't have the consistency needed for it to stick, so I don't expect much in the way of accumulation, if any, out of this. Your Skyline weather forecast: rain. Some of it could be heavy at times, with possible breaks in the rain coverage this afternoon, with highs in the upper 50s. For tonight, wet and cool with rain showers, lows in the lower 40s. And let's take a look at that weekend forecast. The bigger story is later Saturday night, when the temperatures drop into the mid to upper 30s, allowing the precipitation to change over to all snow in the morning hours of Sunday before turning back to all rain. And look at that high on Sunday, 42. We should be in the lower 60s this time of the year. We just cannot break a hold of this wet and cool pattern that we're in. From the Skyline Weather Center, I'm forecaster Dakota Hunter. Morning News Now continues right after the break.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Welcome back to Morning News Now. House Republicans voted Thursday to repeal and replace the Obamacare health plan they have criticized for so long, overcoming United Democrats' opposition and their own deep divisions to hand a major win to President Donald Trump. The narrow vote was a victory for sure. The measure is far from a slam dunk, as it must pass a skeptical Senate. Now, local reaction. Congressman Tom Reed has called this a great day for America, a great victory for the American people. Reed added, quote, "We are finally on a path to fix our broke and broken healthcare system." Reed said, "We care about giving people the freedom and flexibility to make their own healthcare decisions." Now, Andrew Cuomo is a little bit more riled up than Tom Reed. He said that sadly, some representatives in New York have sold their vote and turned their backs on the very constituents they represent. This bill is a targeted assault against our values. More on this story as the Senate gets involved right here on WNY News. Well, big news coming from the Jamestown Police Department this afternoon, where Chief Harry Snelling says his agency is participating in a new initiative called Targeted Enforcement Crime Deterrence Patrol. Snelling says police may have a heavier presence in neighborhoods that are considered problematic and that have had a history of gun, gang, and drug violence. Police that work those zones are dedicated to those areas and do not deviate away from their assignments unless there's an emergency, according to Snelling's. Now, last night was a prime example of what targeted enforcement does. Police working in one of the targeted neighborhoods conducted a traffic stop and seized 25 bags of heroin. Police arrested a man, that man right there on your screen, 38-year-old Alexander Mercado. He's facing a plethora of charges, including felony heroin possession. Well, we return Monday, and hopefully Storm and Justin will feel well, and I'll be back in the producer's chair with another edition of Morning News Now. In the meantime, we do invite you to become part of our social media revolution. WNY News Now across all platforms. Please like our Facebook page. More than 7,000 of you already have, and we do thank you for that. WNY News Now, where coverage comes first. Have a great weekend, everybody.